Welcome back to my channel. This is Jacqueline Edwards, and as always, I am delighted you are here. Thanks for watching the videos, for sharing the content, and leaving your comments. It's truly encouraging. Well, here we are. I hope that you have watched the videos, have been really thinking and pondering, and hopefully implement some of these concepts and ideas I am sharing, and I hope it has been a blessing to your life. So, as we're wrapping up the blessing to be fruitful, and I say wrapping it up because I feel like I've stayed in this area for a long time and I really want to go on to some other things. But I hope that you've been really following along as I'm really building on the blessing that the Lord bless us to be fruitful, to multiply and replenish the earth. And I've just been camping around the blessing to be fruitful. To be fruitful. So I hope that you've been following along and you kind of understand where we're going. That our lives are so parallel to fruit trees, that we were once a seed, that God has deposited so much in that seed, and we have become a tree. We have become a tree that survived. We have blossomed and we have become a fruit, a fruit. And so I've been really challenging you to really think about yourself. Think about your gifts, your talents, your characteristics, your personality, your interests, your talents. I mean, we are fully loaded. We are fully loaded. So in this session, I'm really touching on becoming becoming that fruit, right? It's exciting. It's really exciting, becoming all that God has created us to be. And as I'm really just staying around the area of developing, how do we know how to develop? Well, pay attention to any fruit you enjoy. One thing I notice about the fruit tree, the mango is never the orange. The orange is never the grapefruit. The grapefruit is never tangerine. They are similar but different. Everybody stay in their own lane. But I've been really curious about where the Holy Spirit comes in with this. And as I think about the fruit, I see the Holy Spirit is just working meticulously but intentionally, that this seed that can come from a seed and mature into a tree can become a fruit. Something is working, a design is working, is faithful, is committed to helping that fruit to become who it's supposed to be. It's the same thing with us. It's the same thing with us. We are designed so unique that the Holy Spirit, who we can't see, but is the helper that's helping us on the inside. And when we are attuned and in tune to that Holy Spirit working on the inside of us to become, that's when things get really exciting. Really. So think about it with me. We never see what the Holy Spirit is doing. We never see how that fruit can become a small, tiny fruit to a huge fruit. We never see it, but it's working. It is there. And it's the same thing with us. We have to pay attention. One of the areas, because there are so many different facets to us, we have to pay attention to what's going well. What's going well? How did we get there? What does it feel like? Because you will realize feeling is important. Feeling is important as we are becoming and developing. And when we can feel something working, when you're learning something new, and there is this learning curve, but there's something inside of you expanding. You may have to go to sleep sometime, and while you're sleeping, ideas are coming, understanding is coming, something is working on the inside. How do you go from learning something new to the fact that not knowing anything about that subject or whatever it is, to get into the part where you understand it? I give you an example. When I started doing hair Oh my goodness, I think I was around 35 or so. And at 35 years old, I knew nothing about hair color. I didn't know that hair color derived from the primary colors, learning how to mix and learning how to cancel. I had no idea because of all the challenges I've had since I was a little girl with learning. I did not know my primary colors. So here I am in beauty school, and they're like, oh, to cancel out the greens and the reds and the different colors, you have to know your primary color. Imagine how I feel, especially when they say color is very lucrative. Imagine how I felt. This is a huge learning curve for me, right? But here is what I did. I understand my deficit. I understand that I didn't know what I should have known, right? I took my time and I intentionally set out to develop this skill. I set out to understand color. I set out with intention. I went to so many different classes outside of the beauty school. I traveled to so many states because I was determined to learn. And even when I was in those classes, still I struggled. The concepts weren't coming. But what I didn't understand is the power of showing up. It's the power of showing up even when you don't understand. It's the power of being in the room while the conversations are having, while you're discussing the color. Eventually, I start trying. Eventually, I start doing. Eventually, I start to become. When I stopped doing hair, I was known for doing hair color. So good. So good. Because that is something that I wanted, right? Now, in doing hair color, there's another aspect to that that was just as equally important. And I talked about it here is respecting people's time. I had to show up on time. So now, yes, I know how to do hair, but I also have to show up on time and be punctual. My 10 o'clock is my 10 o'clock, my 12 o'clock is my 12 o'clock. So now you get to see those are two aspects of the self that I have to develop and master, right? Now, when I talk about feeling, how did it feel when I start doing the color and I start to understand and I get it? That is where I took something from a seed and I became a fruit. In my time management, it was an idea that I mastered that became a fruit. How did it make me feel? It made me feel good. It made me feel good. And that propelled me to develop something else, right? I talked about my struggle with comprehension. Oh, that's a desire. That's a deep desire that I want to read and be able to comprehend. So I carve out time in my day. I carve out time on my weekends. I carve out time and I purposely, intently start reading. Now I'm an avid reader. So I just want to show to you that there's so many facets to the self, and we have to pay attention to what is it we have mastered and what is it that needs developing. All these are flowing on the inside of us. And it's when we pay attention and we start developing and becoming, that is what produces joy, unspeakable joy. I don't know about you, but I am some kind of excited because day after day I'm developing. Whether it's on my job, working with my customers, I am developing. I'm letting them feel all the facets inside of me, which creates so much excitement. And in turn, I get to give God all the glory. I get to give God all the glory because I realize that there's something greater in the inside of me that is capable of overcoming, that I can master my limitations. I can master my limitations. And that's true joy. So when we even think about becoming, it's not even these things just where we talk about education or develop a skill. How committed we are to our interests, our hobbies. Do we carve out time to make sure I am making sure I participate in this? Am I carving out time to work on my hobbies? Am I carving out time to do the things I love to do? Am I carving out time for friendship? Developing friendships? Am I carving out time for my children? Am I carving out time for my family? All these things are all these facets, these different facets inside of us that give us so much joy. So while the world is really going at high speed, we can slow things down. We can slow things down by intentionally carving out time in our life to work on the things we love to do, work on our limitations, work on them. So instead of me looking, 5 years down the line and say, I wish I did. What if I had just stayed where I was, can't understand, can hardly read? What if I had stayed in that place? I wouldn't be here today. But I said, no, you know what? I'm not ashamed of my limitations. I'm going to handle this thing. I'm going to overcome it because I'm going to carve out time and I'm going to commit to my own self development. So I pray that this just bless you, that becoming is exciting. Becoming is, you can literally taste the fruit. You can literally feel the joy on the inside of you. You can literally taste the peace. You can literally taste that it's okay. I am content because I'm not where I used to be. And as God gave me breath, I will continue to develop and enjoy the sweetness of who God has created me to be. And in the end, I will serve myself to the world. So God bless you and keep you and make his face to shine upon you. Have a fantastic week. Until next time, take care.